Lucid dreamers of Reddit, what's the coolest thing you've ever done while dreaming? All in one dream. Punched a hole in an aquarium and made sure it didn't leak. Turned around and screwed my crush from school in my living room. Then started setting everything on fire with my mind. My real life was extremely dull. I lucid dream maybe only once or twice a year. But while I was in prison one night I became aware of my dream state. I was at a hobby store with my oldest daughter who was 9 at the time. As soon as I realized what was happening I hugged her for as long as I could. It was so vivid. I could smell the shampoo she used and told her I loved her and that I'd never leave her like this again. I woke up in tears. I experienced something kinda similar. My dad died 6 years ago, so when he appears in my dreams I become lucid. It feels so real, it's like him being given a chance to spend time with him. We never talk, I always just hugged him and weep. Brains are crazy. I don't know if this counts, but when I was 18, now 27, my grandmother passed away. We were close, and I was very upset when she died, but I never had a good cry over it. Well, one night a few years later, I dreamt I was 8 again. I felt like a kid, and I was in our old apartment. I ran downstairs into the kitchen where I saw my mom talking to my grandma. I ran over and gave her a hug and told her it felt like you were gone forever. She replied, "Even if I'm not here, you know everything will be alright." I woke up and cried for a good while and even had to call and talk to my mom. I had a similar experience when I too was 18. I'm 19 now. My grandmother had passed away last year. I had a dream about her 4 months after her death, and right when I saw her in my dream I ran up to her and hugged her tightly, trying to hold on to her forever, and I wept like hell. Woke up and got really depressed. I've flown before, in multiple dreams. I used to be able to wake up on command. Flying is honestly super cool. I landed on top of my house. Close bracket. However, the worst type of dream is a lucid nightmare. You know you're dreaming, but you're running from something. So you try to fly away only to realize that you can't fly, so you immediately think you're actually in danger. This happened to me a few times when I was younger. Also, since I was 13 at the time, I would often spawn girls I had crushes on and imagine they were in love with me. Lucid dreaming is weird. Yeah, you know you're dreaming, but your entire brain isn't there, so you don't often think of the same things you would when you're awake. I stopped lucid dreaming because of a lucid nightmare, because usually when I would lucid dream I could just kind of will things to go away. So I turned and faced the thing I was running from and willed it to disappear. Only it didn't disappear and proceeded to slash me across the chest. It hurt and was still hurting when I woke up. Now, when a dream turns lucid I get terrified and wake myself up. Hunted every villain of my dreams to death. I used to have anxiety dreams for as long as I can remember. They stopped when I was around 14 over 15. The first time I got away, I was a small blue dragon being hunted by some village folk. They had torches and hay forks. I hid under a bush in exhaustion. First time that worked. My oldest dream was me being Bambi, trying to run away from a commercial aircraft that was trying to land on me. WTF. Boy, did it feel good when I flung that witch down her seemingly endless staircase made of random crap. I didn't let her die though. I wanted to see her crawl away from the ruin that was once her tower. I was talking to my mother in a dream. I tried to convince her that it was a dream, but she didn't believe me. So I opened a window, flew out of it, and returned to the room. Then I said, "See, you can't do that in real life. Time to check your totem, Cobb." What happened after that? Did she believe you? I had a similar experience. I was immersed in the dream, on my way with my wife going to cash lottery tickets. When I realized I was dreaming, I tried to convince her that it was dream, manipulating the environment and flying. At first she was hesitant, but when she saw me fly she was super confused, like collapsing from the information. The next thing I remember, the dream reset itself, and we were both at the lottery ticket counter cashing our price. I was no longer lucid dreaming. I was again super happy to have won the lottery. After I woke up everything came back to me, how I was in the dream, then lucid, and then back into the dream again. It's like the dream realized I was breaking the world in the NPCs and decided to do a brutal reset. I only had one lucid dream. I was little kid, and it was a nightmare where a T-Rex was about to eat my family. But then I realized it was a dream. Since I was a kid I didn't know you could control your dreams and the only way I knew to wake up was to die in my dream. So I thought, might as well get this dream over with and basically killed myself by throwing a rock at the T-Rex so I would die instead. I once had a dream that I was a T-Rex about to chomp on some family and some little kid threw a rock at me. I once had a dream that I was a rock and some little kid threw me to get the attention of a T-Rex. I never get to have fun when I lucid dream because whenever I realize I'm dreaming I instantly wake up. Like, I'm having a ball, I meet Bob Saget, realize I'm dreaming, and poof I wake up. Pisses me off. I wanted to hang with Bob Saget. You get too excited. You need to calm yourself. Don't run in a dream. Ever. Try looking at your hands and studying the features of your hands, or just rub them together. Another thing is to try spinning or falling backwards. Also keep reminding yourself you're dreaming, or you'll drift out of lucidity. I've never been able to run in a dream. It just isn't an option most of the time. Like running is something that doesn't exist. The few times where running is a real thing I can attempt, it's like trying to run in waist deep mud. Every movement is just so difficult and slow. I freaking hate that feeling, so much so that it can often turn a dream into a nightmare. It freaks me out so much. Hugged my dog. She had passed away unexpectedly. She died October 1st this year, and I was coping pretty terribly. I fell asleep and became aware that I was dreaming, which I have never really felt before. I got out of bed in my dream and my beautiful paisley pug was there. I kneeled down and asked her back, quote, "How's heaven, pumpkin? I miss you so much." And I started hugging and cuddling her. She felt so real. I could touch her again. I could smell her. I was so happy that my baby was breathing once more. She then licked me and curled up on a shirt of mine that she died on in real life and stopped breathing. When she stopped breathing in my dream I couldn't feel her anymore. I tried grabbing her over and over to save her, but I kept getting pulled away, and then I woke up. That dream fucking tore my heart in so many pieces, but I would do it all over again, just to feel her once more. I miss her so much. I know it might not be the coolest thing, but to me, it meant the world. After I started to not wake up once I realized that I was dreaming, the first things I did were the obvious things. Flew around and had sex with a lot of women I'd mildly crushed on. I attained lucidity like once a week or 10 days on an average. So after I'd gotten bored of effing around I tried to try a lot of different things if I could. One of my favorites is playing football as a player of my favorite team. One time I decided to teleport to another planet. It was pretty confusing and stupid, but really cool. Stupid cause it always seemed like a very sci-fi Spielberg-esque planet, rather than the terrain we are used to seeing on Mars or the moon. I used to do quite a bit of acid in college but haven't since. I trip in my dreams sometimes, and it's incredibly accurate and nostalgic. I love it. What else? Try to live in all my favorite sci-fi/fantasy worlds, but I always struggle in these as they never come right for me. I used to be pretty into this a few years back, would try most nights, and have around one full control success a month. It was mostly sex and superhero fantasy stuff. I had gotten into zombie movies, and decided to do a post-apocalypse thing. Made sure I would be op, a fleet of helicopters, guns, and tanks and fighter jets, with infinite gas, all the food I needed, a dope base with all friends, family, some cute girls, etc. The dream ended up having time dilated pretty hard. Felt like 2 years by the end of it all. Kinda got out of control over time and started losing ground and people to the zombies. Had to bury my own brother out in an urban wasteland and couldn't even finish the funeral. This was about a year and a half in. It was super traumatizing. I tried to force myself awake a few times and I couldn't do it. I finally got killed organically in the dream and woke up. Spent a lot of time contemplating suicide in there. Called my brother openly sobbing. Took me a couple weeks to shake off the years of my life that didn't exist and were terrible. I don't really try to lucid dream anymore, and when I do I keep it tame, like flying and effing again. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe.